Chapter 830. The Black Wolf Yabgu had been eyeing that massive armory for some time now, but when Fomin Linta was in power, the place had been heavily guarded, and with Fomin Linta presiding over it at all times, the Black Wolf Yabgu had never had a chance. But now, Fomin Linta had been transferred to the capital, and based on the news from there, Fomin Linta had been imprisoned. This was an extremely rare opportunity for the Western Turkic Khaganate. You saw for yourself how we fought with biting last time. Their equipment was far too astonishing. Rather than saying that our skills were inferior, it would be better to say that we lost to their vast quantity of equipment. All of Norland's ordnance and equipment came from here. Thus, you should also know how important this operation is to us. The Black Wolf Yabgu suddenly broke the silence. Be at ease, Yabgu. I will definitely handle this matter well. The thin Turkic youth said. The Black Wolf Yabgu nodded, a stern expression on his face. This matter is also very important to you. Do it well. In addition, you can take all of Hulaeg's treasures and bribe the officers of the Chishi Protectorate to move the guards around the armory away so that they can relax their guard even further. Understood. The Turkic youth excitedly left. Wushang, City of Steel. A massive sand table was placed in front of Wang Chong, and in the center of the sand table was a massive hall. This was the Chishi Protectorate headquarters. But no one was looking at the Chishi Protectorate headquarters, but at a nearby armory. Based on the information we've obtained, the Western Turkic Khaganate has always wanted to move against the largest armory in the northwest. In truth, it's not just the Western Turkic Khaganate. Even the Uzun has this thought. But with Fomin Linta present, they didn't dare to move, but now that Fomin Linta has been transferred away, the Chishi Protectorate is a leaderless dragon, and it's in internal strife. For the Uzun and the Western Turkic Khaganate, this is an extremely rare opportunity that they won't let go of. Wang Chong extended an index finger and pointed at the armory on the model. Milord is wise. On the side, Hulaeg was staring at Wang Chong in shock. After interacting with Wang Chong so many times, Hulaeg had long ago become accustomed to Wang Chong's ability to foresee the future. The betrayal of his butler and the subsequent crisis of the Eastern Turkic Khaganate had made Hulaeg not only believe in Wang Chong's abilities, but prostrate himself in admiration. Marquis, then do we need to send troops over to strengthen the defenses there? Li Sai listened on the side and suddenly frowned. He pointed at the armory and said. Although he didn't know where Wang Chong had obtained this secret information, Li Sai had never doubted Wang Chong's decisions. Ha, it's the exact opposite. Wang Chong smiled and shook his head. If you want to take first, you must first give. Not only can we not strengthen the defenses there, we must think of ways to weaken them. Only by drawing them out can we exterminate them and eliminate any hidden dangers. Otherwise, as long as they continue to hide in the shadows, we will have to be on guard at all times, never able to rest easy. Does Marquis mean to say that we want to remove the defenses around the armory? But that armory is essentially the property of the Imperial clan, and we have no authority to move it. Even the Chishi Protectorate probably has limited authority, Cheng Sanyuan said with a frown. Cheng Sanyuan frowned. The Chishi Protectorate is currently in chaos, a group of dragons without a leader. No matter what we want to do, now is the best time. Wang Chong gave a carefree smile, his composure so infectious that one couldn't help but be convinced. Wang Chong grinned. This sort of composure and ease had a powerful infectious power that made others involuntarily trust him. Indeed. The current Chishi Protectorate was filled with factions and factions. There was nothing that could not be done. Suke, I'll leave this matter to you. Wang Chong turned his head to the nearby Suke. After the search for Fomin Linta's trusted aide, Suke's performance had only gotten more and more outstanding, and he was slowly beginning to show that he could stand on his own. Although the Chishi Protectorate was currently under the control of the Hu generals, there were still quite a number of Han leaders in the Chishi Protectorate. As long as he had the right method, he could use these Han to effectively influence the Hu generals in the Chishi Protectorate. Removing the defenses around the armory wouldn't be too difficult. Yes, Marquis. This general will go. Su Ke hurriedly bowed. Flap flap. Just when Wang Chong was about to give his orders, the flapping of wings attracted everyone's attention. Everyone turned their heads and subconsciously looked in the direction of the sound. They saw a black messenger pigeon suddenly land from the eaves and fly in through the window. It's a messenger pigeon from the capital. Everyone's expressions flickered at the sight of this messenger pigeon. The capital would always use special messenger pigeons to deliver messages, and depending on the urgency of the situation, the pigeons would also be of different colors. Pigeons of this color were usually only used in the most urgent of situations. What's going on? Wang Chong's brow creased in shock. At a time like this, he truly couldn't imagine what could be happening in the capital that would be sent to him. Bring it over. A guard quickly grabbed the messenger pigeon, removed the letter from its claws, and respectfully delivered it to Wang Chong. Wang Chong unfurled the letter, and with a single glance, his face instantly paled. Li Sai, I'll leave the matters here to you. I'm going back to the capital. After saying this, Wang Chong stood up and left. A good Ulan felt that he was about as strong as Dian Mengpoj, both being brigadier generals. If not even Dian Mengpoj was a match for Wang Chong, a good Ulan did not believe that he would be able to gain much of an advantage. At the very least, a lightning-quick assault and beheading Wang Chong was extremely impractical. This was why he had let Hulieg go when he heard that he had fled to Wushang. "Milord, we've investigated. It seems to be related to the young Marquis's second brother. Based on the information we've obtained, it seems that his second brother committed a crime and killed someone, and it seems to have involved a princess. The incident was too sudden, so he had no choice but to leave." He could vaguely hear the scout's voice. He knelt motionlessly in front of the hall, his expression respectful and reverent. "Second brother? Isn't it that fellow called Wang Bei?" The black wolf Yabgu Agudu-Lan's eyes widened as he quietly said to himself. He had long ago gathered all the information he could on Wang Chong. Unlike the other factions, the black wolf Yabgu's information was very comprehensive, and he even knew that Wang Chong's second brother, Wang Bei, suffered from some sort of berserk bloodline. Many years ago, he had suffered an attack and ended up being imprisoned in the imperial prison. He hadn't expected to be released so soon. "Investigate for me. Hurry up and verify the authenticity of this information," the black wolf Yabgu said without hesitation. On this matter, his attitude was very cautious. This was also his usual style. In the era of Qixi after Fomin Linta's departure, the only person a good Ulan had to worry about was Wang Chong. Wushang wasn't close to the Qixi protectorate, but it wasn't far either. At the very least, if something happened to Qixi, Wang Chong could send reinforcements. But if not even Wang Chong was present, there was nothing in Qixi that a good Ulan needed to worry about. Chapter 831. The black wolf Yabgu did not have to wait for too long. Several days later, a massive eagle flew from the capital over the mountains and rivers, landing in the black wolf Yabgu's tent. Upon opening the letter, he saw only a few short lines. The information is conclusive. Wang Chong's second brother, Wang Bei, was released from the imperial prison a few days ago. His berserk madness had broken out and he began to kill people on the street. This matter has caused quite a stir, and the Court of Judicial Review has already intervened. In addition, this matter truly did involve a princess of the imperial household. There were also a few other related bits of information. Ha ha ha, good. The black wolf Yabgu's brows relaxed at this news, the depression in his heart instantly swept away. His entire person felt refreshed, and he finally couldn't help but laugh, his laughter echoing over the steppe. The heavens truly are helping me. Since I have this chance, there's no need to wait for anything else. Pass on my order. Have the army gather. Tonight, we will completely destroy the Tang dynasty's Qixi armory. The Tang dynasty's massive armory was like a fishbone wedged against the Western Turkic Khaganate's throat. The Black Wolf Yabgu had wanted to destroy this armory for more than a day or two. It had been a year or two, and now, the time had come. It was finally time to make it a reality. Yes, your subordinate will go. The guard quickly left. Boom. The Black Wolf Yabgu's order caused the horses of the steppe to whinnied and whinnied as countless Turkic warriors received the summons and gathered from all over the steppe. At the same time, the howls of the green wolves began to summon their large and muscular counterparts. For a moment, the steppe was in a somber mood, the atmosphere of a battle. Deep into the night, after the Z period, the area where Qixi and the steppe intersected, where soldiers had once stood, was now empty. Ha ha ha, after taking someone's money, they'll help them avert disaster. These fellows truly are trustworthy. In the distance, a coarse laughter in Turkic came from the darkness as a horseman scouted the area and quickly galloped away. In the blink of an eye, the earth rumbled as hundreds and thousands of cavalry swarmed over. At the very front of the group, a tall and muscular figure was riding a majestic divine steed that was taller than a man. His robe and long hair fluttered in the wind. He was filled with a sense of wildness and looked extremely eye-catching. All of you, keep up. Let's get this over with. If anyone falls behind and makes a mistake, they will be punished according to military law when we get back. The gloomy voice of the Black Wolf Yabgu floated far into the night. Ha ha ha, don't worry. Sir won't do anything bad. This time, we'll go to Qixi and burn it to the ground. Ha ha ha, how is arson enough? We still have to kill 2 people. Whoever dares to stop us this time will die. Matters of state were no trifling matter. Thus, in this period of time, not even Wang Yan and the King of Song had been recommending much. A country can't go a day without a sovereign, and the border can't go a day without a general. Just who can replace Fomin Linta to oversee the border and protect Qixi? The King of Song raised his head to the majestic ceiling of the hall, his mind in turmoil. In truth, he didn't care about the arguments of the officials. What he cared about was the most suitable candidate. But finding a suitable candidate was easier said than done. The entire Tang dynasty only had a few great generals, and all of them were already in their respective positions. Finding another great general was not difficult, but simply impossible. This was the true reason why the problem of Qixi had still not been resolved. In the vast Great Tang, could it be that you really can't find a suitable candidate? The King of Song couldn't help but deeply furrow his brow. This was an unsolvable conundrum. The problem of Qixi was far too complex. The Turks, the Uzan, the Arabs, Karak-Spazinu, and there was also the problem of the foreigners and the Han within the Qixi protectorate. It was basically impossible to find someone who could satisfy all these conditions. This was what troubled the King of Song the most. The arguments in the hall were getting more and more intense. These arguments had been going on for several days, and just when the King of Song was about to leave in a huff, hurried footsteps came from outside the hall. Reporting. Victory in Qixi. 4 days ago, the Black Wolf Yabgu of the Western Turkic Khaganate launched a night raid on the Qixi armory and was ambushed by Wushang's young Marquis Wang Chong and his soldiers. 4,568 Turkic elites were slain, including the Black Wolf Yabgu Agud Alan. A golden insignia guard held a golden ancient halberd in one hand and a report in the other as he respectfully knelt on the ground, not moving an inch. Rumble. The news brought by the Chamberlain of Imperial Insignia caused a huge uproar in the hall. Although not many people knew of the name, Agud Alan, they all knew of the name, Yabgu. But at a time like this, the two of them had wisely chosen to remain silent and watch the situation develop. The King of Song still maintained his calm, a smile on his lips as he listened to the fierce objections of the officials. The vague idea in his mind grew clearer and clearer, and the smile on his lips grew wider and wider. Your Majesty, and my colleagues, I believe that the young Marquis, Wang Chong, is not only suitable for the position of Qixi Protector General, but also the best candidate. In the entire empire, there is no one more suitable than him for the position of Qixi Protector General. The King of Song had a composed expression, a faint smile on his face. His every movement exuded a powerful and infectious confidence. I know why all of you oppose him. It's just that he's young and inexperienced, not enough to convince the masses. Moreover, Wang Chong has clashed with all the Hu in the empire. But I believe that suitability for Qixi Protector General is based on ability, not these minor details. Qixi's position is extremely unique. It is the throat between the interior and the western regions. To the left is the tall and thin Uzun Plateau, where the Uzun cavalry could charge down at any moment and plunder the central plains. To the right is the Turkic steppe, the territory of the Western Turkic Khaganate. These two factions have always been a mortal malady to our Tang dynasty. We discussed the selection of Qixi Protector General as quickly as possible in order to prevent the soldiers of these two empires from invading in the chaos. But now, everyone can see what Qixi is like now that Fomin Linta has left. On the left is the Uzun Plateau. After the Battle of the Triangular Gap, the Uzun army suffered grievous casualties, at least 100,000 soldiers. Even an imperial brigadier general like Dian Mangpoj died there. Dusong Mangpoj has also fled, and it will probably be a very long time before they can find suitable soldiers to invade the interior. As for the east, the greatest danger is the Black Wolf Yabgu Agud Ulan, but now, even Agud Ulan is dead. And this is even when Wang Chong has not yet taken up the post of Qixi Protector General. Before he has even become Qixi Protector General, he has already done everything that a Qixi Protector General should do, resolving the complex situation of a pincer attack on Qixi. May I ask, if he is not suitable for Qixi Protector General, who is more suitable? The more the King of Song spoke, the clearer he became, and the more determined he was to recommend Wang Chong as Qixi Protector General. And have all of you forgotten how Wang Chong overturned the tide in the War of the Southwest and defeated Meng Shizhao and Uzun? More than 2,000 kilometers away from the capital, in a place where few people tread, a huge mountain stood tall. This mountain range stretched on for hundreds of kilometers, and it was as if it had been chiseled by a knife and chiseled by a hatchet. It stretched all the way up, and the highest peak was several thousand meters tall, piercing straight into the depths of the sky. The highest part of the mountain was covered in pure white snow. From a distance, the entire mountain range seemed majestic and awe-inspiring. This was the holy land of the Uzun, the great snow mountain temple, the source of all the legends of the Uzun. Although the Uzun Empire was still far from entering the winter season, the peak of the Great Snow Mountain was covered in snow all year round, regardless of whether it was spring, summer, autumn, or winter. This was a phenomenon unique to the entire Great Snow Mountain. At this moment, a figure 7 feet tall was kneeling at the base of the mountain, his head pressed to the ground, his body motionless. His armor was in tatters, and many parts of his body were stained black and red with blood. It was clear that he had experienced a hair-raising and perilous battle. This figure had appeared here a month ago, and no matter how the wind blew, how the sun shone, or how the rain drenched him, he had remained unshaken, like the most pious and lowly of believers. If one did not know, they would find it very difficult to believe that this disheveled and filthy figure dressed in tattered armor was the illustrious imperial great general Dusong Mengpoj of the Uzun Empire. "Milord, you should leave. The venerable monk will not agree to your request. The Great Snow Mountain Temple has never interfered in secular wars for several thousand years, and it is even less likely to do so now." After some time, a voice rang out in front of Dusong Mengpoj. A barefooted, bare-headed monk dressed in a single robe walked down from above, his hands pressed together in prayer. Even someone of Dusong Mengpoj's cultivation had failed to hear his footsteps. His eyes were gentle and calm like a bottomless lake, capable of soothing all the distracting thoughts in one's mind. This matter is different. This is not a secular war. The people who defeated me are all experts of the Central Plains. Only the people of the Great Snow Mountain Temple can deal with these people. I hope that Venerable can inform the Venerable monk and assist me. Dusong Mangpoj continued to kneel on the ground, his head even lower as he respectfully spoke. Oh. The monk's calm eyes finally rippled for a moment, but they quickly regained their composure. It's useless. The Venerable monk will not easily make an exception. Milord, please return. No matter how long you kneel here, it's useless. With these words, the monk quickly turned around and began to make his way up the mountain. In just a few moments, he had vanished from sight. The resources and abilities of the City of Steel were slowly being directed toward Talas and the Arabian Empire. If one said that Yang Hongchang had been the one to gather information on Talas, then now, with the influx of scouts and soldiers, Wang Chang's ability to gather information on Talas and the Arabian Empire had skyrocketed. That's right, what about Hulaeg? Once everything was over, Wang Chong suddenly thought of Hulaeg and asked. In the past, Hulaeg would always be at his beck and call like a shadow, but it had been a very long time since Wang Chong had seen him. Ha! Didn't you leave the matter of the Turkic fourth prince to him? Right now, he's completely devoted to this task. In order to better accomplish this task, he's already moved from the residence you arranged for him to the City of Steel's prison. Su Yiqin gracefully strode forward, a charming smile on her face and a spirited expression. She exuded a dazzling charm that even Wang Chong couldn't help but be dazed for a moment, but Wang Chong quickly recovered. The prison? Why would he go there? Wang Chong couldn't help but ask in surprise. Based on his understanding of Hulaeg, he knew that this fellow was an extreme hedonist. He had been very picky about the rooms that had been arranged for him, and he had even bought a lot of tiger pelts to decorate the walls and floor. How could he possibly be willing to go to the prison? This was completely out of line with his style. Just what is he doing? What can he do? It's all for the fourth prince. Su Yiqin laughed even harder at these words, almost unable to restrain her laughter. Now, in order to win the trust of the fourth prince and change his impression of him, he's actually resorted to the tactic of injuring himself to gain the trust of the fourth prince. He had Su Kei find someone to give him a vicious beating him black and blue, and then throwing him into the prison to be locked up with the fourth prince every day. If my guess is right, this damned fatty is probably complaining to that fourth prince in the prison. Chapter 845. What? Wang Chong was dumbfounded, not daring to believe his ears. Hulaeg's actions were simply too shocking. Not even Wang Chong had expected him to use this sort of move. But will this move of his really be useful? Hulaeg's residence had been personally raided by the fourth prince, and before the Battle of Qixi Armory, this fourth prince had followed the Blue Wolf Protector General Agudulan for a long time, listening to the latter's orders every day. His impression of Hulaeg was definitely not very good. In normal circumstances, it would already be quite good if he hadn't lunged at this traitor and taken a bite out of Hulaeg. It was almost impossible for Hulaeg to change his impression of him. Why else would he use the ruse of self-injury? Su Kei was really beating him, not holding back at all. As for Hulaeg, he was lying on the ground, his face ashen and his forehead drenched in sweat as he begged Su Kei to beat him even harder. I have to say that this Turkic horse merchant truly does have some ability. The Turkic fourth prince was imprisoned with him for several days. Every day, the Turkic fourth prince would hear the Turkic fourth prince ramble on about how he was only doing business with us. Moreover, in order to save him, the Turkic fourth prince had been ruthlessly beaten. Su Yiqin covered her mouth with a smile. Oh. If that's really the case, then this fellow is truly worthy of respect. It seems like he's going all out to return to the Turkic steppe. As he listened to Su Yiqin's bell-like laughter, a hint of a smile appeared in Wang Chang's eyes. Forget it. Let him handle this matter. At the same time, on the distant Mount Sanmi, where the tent of the Western Turkic Khaganate was located, a furious roar shook the heavens. What? They actually refused us again. Did they really think that our Western Turks would agree to such an impossible condition? Ishbara Kagan paced back and forth in the enormous golden tent like an enraged lion. All of Mount Sanmi trembled at his roars. Kagan, we've already asked again and again, but the other party insists on 500,000 of the best Turkic warhorses and refuses to relent. He also said that if we don't agree, he'll send the fourth prince's corpse to Mount Sanmi. In the tent, a scout knelt on the ground, trembling with fear. His head was almost buried between his thighs, and he didn't even dare to raise his head to take a look. Bastard! Then let them deliver the fourth prince's corpse. Tell them that 500,000 of the best Turkic warhorses is impossible. Ishbara Kagan was furious. His furious voice was like a clap of thunder that flashed through the sky above Mount Sanmi, causing the minds of everyone who heard it to tremble in fear. The scout prostrated on the ground, not daring to say a word. Hurry up and go. Ishbara Khan's eyes widened as he shouted angrily. Yes. Trembling all over, the scout turned and left, not daring to say another word. However, just as the scout reached the exit of the tent, boom, the earth shook, and black gas filled the air. An invisible black wall suddenly descended from the sky, enveloping the entire tent. The Turkic scout was caught off guard and slammed into the black wall of energy, his body staggering and almost falling to the ground. Paying respects to Lord Priest. But this had happened so suddenly that the Turkic scout did not immediately stand up. Instead, he prostrated on the ground, his head even lower in panic. In the tent, the furious Ishbara Kagan inhaled sharply the moment the black wall appeared. His expression became much more sober. The entire tent was silent. Blackwater Shaman. Ishbara Kagan suddenly called out as he glanced outside the tent. Kagan, quell your anger. The matter of the fourth prince must be considered at length. Do not let your emotions affect your decisions. At the exit of the tent, light and shadow changed. With a hoarse and old voice, a figure about 5 feet tall with a hunched back slowly walked in from outside the tent. His black robe reached the ground, and he was holding a black skull staff. At that moment, shadows began to flicker in the tent, with the black-robed figure at the center. Countless savage images of beasts surged out of the black-robed figure's body like streams of light. Not only that, the moment the black-robed figure appeared, the golden tent began to emit a strange odor. It smelled like a bear, but also like a tiger. In short, it felt like a herd of animals had surged into the tent. In the entire Western Turkic Khaganate, there was only one special existence that could give off this sort of feeling and charge into Ishbara Kagan's tent, the shaman priests. No one knew how the shaman priests had come to be, only that they had appeared in the history of the Turkic steppe ever since the birth of the Turkic people, and they possessed an extremely lofty status. The legend said that the shaman priests could communicate with all animals and the gods in the heavens. They knew the past and could also see the future. Their bodies were shrouded in a dense fog, concealing countless secrets. Moreover, all the shaman priests possessed a mysterious power that could not be explained with common sense. This power was not martial arts, but it was even more terrifying and mysterious. The people of the steppe called it sorcery. The most famous legend of the shaman priests was that more than 1,000 years ago, during the reign of the strongest emperor of the Central Plains, Emperor Wu of Han, powerful cavalry from the Central Plains had swept through the steppe and desert, repeatedly driving back the elite cavalry of the Turks. The Turkic steppe had been covered in corpses and rivers of blood. The thousands of whose soldiers exuded powerful auras, their sharp gazes staring at Wang Chong as if they wanted nothing more than to pulverize Wang Chong's body. In a flash, the air became tense and somber, and Wang Chong's 5,000 Wushang soldiers slowly came to a halt. Bastard! What are these scoundrels doing? At this sight, the soldiers behind Wang Chong paled, their eyes flashing with fury. Wang Chong was the Chishi Protector General of the Imperial Court, a title that the Holy Emperor had personally conferred. For these people to dare to gather their soldiers and resist Wang Chong was tantamount to rebelling against their superiors. How preposterous! Do they really dare to rebel? A hint of rage flashed through Su Kei's eyes as he urged his horse to charge forward. Wait a moment. At this moment, a voice came from behind him. Wang Chong had extended a palm and called out to Su Kei. Come back. Let's see what they want to do first. Wang Chong's expression was indifferent, seemingly unconcerned. He had predicted this scene long ago. He was the one who had pulled Fomin Linta off his horse, and the Hu on the border had never had a good impression of him. He would have been more surprised if he had been able to smoothly assume his post in the Qixi Protectorate headquarters. A feast at Hongmen, interesting. Wang Chong rode forward 2 paces, a faint smile on his lips as he gazed at the vast Hu army. He had never once thought about going back from the City of Steel. No matter how many Hu there were, they would have to yield whether they wanted to or not. Wang Chong. With a peal of thunder, a deep and resonant voice, tinged with the unique trill of the Hu, came from the rear of the army. You're quite bold. After harming our Protector General, you still have the face to appear before us. Do you really think that we don't dare to kill you? I'll give you one chance. It's not too late to retreat now. With this cold and hard voice, the vast army in front of the Qixi Protectorate headquarters parted like a wave. 20 to 30 Hu generals clad in thick armor strode forward, their armor clattering against each other as they seethed with killing intent. At the very front of this group of Hu generals was a tall and muscular Hu general. His eyes were vicious and fierce, brimming with boundless ambition. The tens of thousands of Hu soldiers fused with his aura, making him seem even taller. Good July. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.